Allyson Carter, and welcome to our podcast at Elder Home Buyers. I'm so excited. I just want to welcome Jacqueline Clark today from Lakeline Oaks. She's our special guest telling us all about the 55 plus community and everything it has to offer our senior community out there today. So I want to tell you a little bit about her. She has been in the retirement living community since 2015. She worked in the sister community at Round Rock for 5 years and has been at Lakeline Oaks for the last year. Before she worked in our senior industry, she worked in multifamily industry, helping people find their perfect home, but she really had a desire to work with seniors, which is a special calling, and then settled in here at Lakeline Oaks. So thank you, Jacqueline, for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about your facility?
Thank you, Allyson, for inviting me. I'd love to tell you about Lakeline Oaks. We are a 55 luxury, all-inclusive retirement community for people 55 and better. Basically, our purpose is to simplify the life of a senior so they can redirect their focus on things that are more fun. They can, be around people their age, that they have things in common with. We take over most of the household burdens, if you will. So what I mean by that is that we do the cooking, the cleaning. We even provide transportation. We include all the bills, all the utilities, and we have a lifestyle director who coordinates all of our fun events and activities to keep everybody active, socially engaged, happy, all that good stuff. We have a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah. So usually people want their license to say that they're younger. I want mine to say that I'm 55 plus so that I can go live in your community.
You do.
You had me at cooking and cleaning. That's it. So a lot of people, when they start looking at these communities, they want to start to downsize their homes, seniors. It just gets to be too much. And they're exploring their different options. Even in the retirement living communities, there are a lot of options and differences. Can you tell us a little bit about that you see, what their options might be, like some with the cottages, some with apartments? Tell us a little bit about what you know.
So very good question. All the retirement communities out there, for the most part, they offer the same concept. A lot of us do it in a different form or fashion. Some of us have our little superpower, if you will. One of our superpowers is our dining program, for example. It's a little bit unique. It's different from everybody else. To kind of give you an example of that, a lot of the retirement communities require their residents to be down and seated at a set rigid time each day for each meal. We don't do it like that. There's a little bit more flexibility involved at Lakeline Oaks. Our meal program is referred to as freedom dining. So our residents have a good 1.5 to 2 hour window to come down. It just flows a lot better, and everybody enjoys that. But yes, some will have cottages. Most of them don't, because the whole point is to kind of get away from like a house or home life and be in an area where you're closer to people. As soon as you open that front door, you are automatically involved within the community. It's easier to make friends that way and stuff like that. So some have pools, some don't have pools. Everybody's a little bit different. And, because of that, I do encourage people to shop multiple communities. Ultimately, in the end, it's going to make them feel more confident about their final decision. And everybody has a match. So, but yes.
So let's address first the different types of communities.
Okay.
So first we have 55 plus, assisted living, long-term care, and memory care. Mm-hmm. So obviously 55 plus living communities would be different, very different from long-term care and memory care you need if you have Alzheimer's, or definitely can't be on your own. Mm-hmm. But it can be kind of confusing for somebody who's not really sure about what they're looking for in senior care between assisted living and 55 retirement living communities. Can you clarify that for us?
Very, very good question. And it can be confusing and overwhelming. So there are what we call active adult communities, which
Okay.
is just an apartment community for people 55 and better. They may not have all the all-inclusive amenities as Lakeline Oaks does, for example. They're basically just an apartment community that's age restricted.
Okay.
And then you have a community like Lakeline Oaks, and we are just a independent retirement community. So no assisted living, no memory care, strictly independent. You have to be able to take care of yourself when you come to our community.
So you're not dispensing medications. They don't have a nurse there that's employed by the facility to check in or help them out of bed or walk or with their everyday needs or help them bathe or anything like that. They must be able to take care of themselves.
Right. We don't offer that.
Okay.
Now, as a natural part of age progression,
Okay.
with us being a age in place community, naturally we're all going to get to a point where we might need some light needs.
Okay.
Light needs, for an example, would be, maybe if someone needs medication management or bathing assistance or something like that.
Okay.
That's light assistance. So, and you don't even necessarily have to use a in-home health care provider that's medical based for that. So we do allow third-party medical providers and organizations to come to our community and serve our residents in the privacy of their own home to assure that they can live independently that much longer. But then the next natural progression would be assisted living. But assisted living, there's kind of a fine line. Sometimes people go to assisted living prematurely. You don't want to do that. You have to be really cautious of that. Because if you do go prematurely, assisted living is there to do just that, assist you with everyday living. So if you go and too soon, you're still pretty active, still can take care of yourself for the most part, and you get there, what happens is you get spoiled with the fact that everybody's there to do everything for you.
Yeah.
So you quit doing for yourself, and inevitably you can decline just from that alone. Assisted living does have a purpose, though. It's mostly for people who need 24/7 care. If you get to a point in life you need 24/7 care, that's definitely the appropriate place for you to be. And then there's memory care. That's usually intended for, cognitive issues, common with dementia, Alzheimer's once you get to a later stage. So there is kind of a
progression,
if you will.
Needs.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised. Most people don't go from independent living to assisted living like that. That part is a long progression. So you could live at a independent retirement community and outsource some light in-home health care, and you could make that last for a really long time.
Yeah, well, too, it's keeping you active and engaged,
Right.
your mind engaged and socially engaged. Mm-hmm. It's such an important part of staying healthy and active. We see so many seniors stay at home and they're alone and not getting that social aspect that they need to stay cognitively engaged and keep them, healthy.
For
So
sure.
we all need that, and you've seen in the pandemic that people have expressed feeling depression because they've just been so ostracized. And I just love that the 55 plus community creates that environment where they can feel involved and have connections that we all need.
Right.
So that's a really important aspect and such a benefit of having our parents or having, a senior choosing to live there, even on top of all the fun stuff that y'all provide.
Yeah.
So I want to go over what kind of tips do you recommend for for a family that they come in, it's the first place, they're kind of overwhelmed, like, okay, well, what do we do? Like, what do we ask when we're even here?
So I usually, when a family comes in, I start off by asking what specifically happened that drove them to my community. There's always that one thing, that one element that happened, or that one concern that caused them to look me up on the internet and call me and make an appointment and come in. So I usually kind of zone in on that because everybody does have a different reason for considering Lakeline Oaks or independent living, if you will. Some people it is for the social aspect, especially when someone has lost a spouse. And like you said, if they're home and they're lonely and isolated, I mean, that can spiral into depression. So there's that. Sometimes we have people come because they just can't cook anymore. Maybe not because they're not capable, but maybe they have arthritis really bad and they just can't stand long enough to boil a pot of water.
Yeah.
So there's that. Or some people it's because they can't drive anymore.
Yeah.
And that
another important topic of when should we stop driving?
Right. Yeah, there's that. So, but I usually engage first, try to zone in on the exact need that drove them to our community, and I kind of use that to as my topic of conversation during the tour, and I highlight the benefits of the community that would accommodate that particular family's need. And then in the end, once we're all done, of course, there's a question answer session. And then I always tell people, same thing, just like I told you. I mean, I would say, definitely consider looking at some other communities, even though my position is to build census and to lease apartments. Yeah. It's healthy for you to look at all your options.
Right. You want to be confident in what you're choosing.
Yeah. And informed. You need to be informed. I kind of serve as an advocate, not just a senior living consultant. So I like to provide information and guide families in the right direction, because there has been the rare opportunities where someone, come to find out, doesn't belong at our community. It's not safe for them to be at our community for whatever reason, and I'm not shy to tell them that. So it's kind of navigating them, and I've learned that families appreciate that.
Yeah,
that I'm
open
looking out for
their
looking out for their loved one's best interest. And I also tell people too, it's one thing to tour, but it's another thing to be involved in the community. That's actually in itself going to tell you everything you need to know. So I tell people, we did the tour today. We did the sit. Now you're informed. Now come back and experience. So come back and maybe participate in an event or activity, or come have lunch. That's when the demographic of the community is down all at one time. So that's actually a very good time to come down. And it's a good time to sample the food. The food is a big part of what we're about, especially at Lakeline Oaks. We serve 3 meals a day. So that's a big part of what you're paying for, and you have to know you like it or you're going to be miserable. So come back and have a meal. And since our meal program is so unique and everybody does their meal program differently, go have a meal with the other community you're considering as well. Again, all of that is going to help you make the decision of what's best for you.
And definitely talking with other seniors that are there. I know that they're usually not shy, so they'll tell you their opinions very frankly. So that's a great tip.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about what options, in these community living and in yours, the different type of living options. So you offer different types of apartments. What exactly are these apartments? Okay. And do you do the families have to sign contracts? Are they stuck in these places, or is it just month to month, or can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, at Lakeline Oaks specifically, we are a month to month community. Now there's still a lease contract involved, but it will clearly state that this is a month to month lease contract between Jane or John Doe and Lakeline Oaks. The idea that we are a month-to-month strictly benefits the prospect, not necessarily the community. If anything, it makes our census vulnerable because we're not sure when or if someone's going to turn in a notice. But we're confident, and so that's why we're able to offer a month-to-month arrangement, because it also kind of takes off the pressure from the prospect. I think what many people fear is the unknown. Yeah. So what if they do sell their house and then now that's behind them, and then they downsize all their personal possessions and everything that was sentimental to them.
Yeah.
And then they come to my community and move into a fraction of the space that they're used to. And then what if they hate it? Right?
Yeah.
So being a month-to-month community gives people the flexibility to even do some tire kicking first. Move in. If you're able to do that, move in first, get a taste of it. It won't take you long. You'll know pretty quickly if this is the right fit for you. And then you can call Allyson to buy your home.
Yes, that's exactly right. You can. I will definitely help you get that downsized and figure out what you want to do with all your needs. But, month to month is a great options because sometimes families want their loved one to come live with them, or they decline and need to go to that long-term care, or, you don't want to be there for 6 months, have a year lease, and then fear, I'm going to have to pay the lease out for the next 6 months, or a breaking fee, but we're also having to pay this long-term care facility. Yeah, that would be a huge fear.
At our community, all the residents are obligated to do is give a 30-day written notice to vacate if they decide to leave. And then back to the first part of your question, in regards to the apartments and kind of what they're like. At Lakeline Oaks, we have studio apartments. We have 1 bedrooms. We have 2 bedrooms. We even have 3 bedrooms. And one of our superpowers that I like to share is that we're kind of famous for having the largest floor plans in this industry in our area. So it kind of helps when someone's moving from a house to our community, a little less sacrifice, if you will.
Yeah.
And we're kind of set up like, I like to tell people that we're set up like a little mini Bellagio, like if you go to Vegas. So we're like a 5-star hotel. All the doors are interior based. Again, you just open the door and automatically you're right there in the action.
So I love that. And also that all these facilities or all these communities offer, apartments offer inclusive utilities. Can you tell me about what kind of utilities those are, or what kind of, and then what kind of cost they can expect with those different offerings?
So with us being all-inclusive, we make it very simple. There's no hidden fees. It's straightforward. It's they know what to expect to pay every single month. With us, we besides the actual apartment, we do provide 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We also provide housekeeping services. So the housekeeper comes once a week. We provide transportation services. And then what you said in regards to utilities, we provide or we pay for and cover the electricity, water, cable, and internet. The only thing we don't include is cell phone, but this day and age, most people have a cell phone.
Yeah.
We also do provide a 24/7 medical alert pendant. And we do have staff on site. We have a live-in husband and wife duo. They're the community managers, and they live on site. And we have a concierge on duty 24/7. So there's always someone available in case there's an emergency. We're not a medical facility, so depending on what the issue is, if it's a true emergency or looks like someone got hurt, we would notify the appropriate people to help them. But we stay with them, keep them comfortable till they come. We'll call family if they want us to. So it's kind of some reassurance to the family too.
That's a lot of benefits. And, we add up our budgets and everyday costs. So what can we expect? What can a family expect to budget for these kind of costs?
Good question. So our prices start off at $3,200 a month. And you want to make sure that you're always not just factoring in or comparing what your current costs are with your house versus what independent living cost. I'll give you an example. Someone I met wanted to add up their grocery bills.
Okay.
Right? And I had to remind them it's actually more than just the grocery bills. Okay, that's important.
Yeah.
But it's the effort you took to get to the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
To get all the groceries, to drive back home with them, to put them away in the pantry or the refrigerator. And then every day for those 3 meals a day, getting everything out, cooking it, and then cleaning up after it. So it's there's definitely a value behind it. It also involves the effort for everything. Again, it frees up their time so they can focus on things that are more fun or more important for them to them.
So I want to talk about their families. A lot of times families want to come visit with them, or might live out of state, or quite a bit of distance away. And what is the policy or rules for family and people visiting and staying with them?
Oh, we love visitors. We actually encourage it. Matter of fact, I'm very blessed because Lakeline Oaks is such a fun community. We have a lot of fun. The family members are not trying to come to our community and yank their loved ones out and take them somewhere to go have fun. No, the family wants to be a part of it, and we encourage it. It actually adds to the diversity of age groups, energy levels, personalities when we have families involved. So yes, they're welcome any day, every day. If they do want to dine with us, there is a small fee for that. To give you an example, breakfast is $5 a person, lunch and dinner is $8, and we do have a really awesome prime rib Sunday brunch every Sunday, which is $10. And it is all you can eat buffet style, so you definitely get your money's worth. And when guests do come in town, they can obviously stay with their loved one if they want to, but if they would prefer to have their own accommodations, the resort lifestyle communities are all equipped with what we call a guest suite. It's rentable by the night. It's $75, and they can stay there, and that $75 also affords them a complimentary breakfast too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, and I know that you have something very special with your facility that I really love, and it's the travel club. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So it is exciting, and I'm actually looking forward to cashing in on it myself. So as I mentioned earlier, all of our communities are equipped with a guest suite. Its initial intention is for family and friends that are coming in town, but it's also part of a travel program. So when you join a resort lifestyle community, or specifically Lakeline Oaks, you're automatically part of a travel program. So we have about 48 communities throughout the United States. We're still growing, so there'll be more. And so all you have to do is call maybe another community in another city or state that you would like to go visit. Just confirm they have availability in that guest suite during the time frame you wish to visit. And if they do, then you can book up to a week free of charge and live there just as you would at our community. You just have to get yourself there safely, bring yourself back safely, but you'll have accommodations waiting for you.
That's perfect. I
Right.
mean, it gives you the opportunity to visit places all over the United States, and some of them are really amazing that you may not have had a chance before when you were busy working in your life, and or if your family lives in other states. You know, our kids travel often and leave home and live far off, so that I think that's amazing benefit. I really appreciate. Is there any last tidbits that we didn't include that you would like to share with us about your community or about resort living communities that maybe the seniors didn't know or would benefit from knowing before we finish off today?
I do have something to add. and this advice goes to anybody. Anybody who is watching this podcast is welcome to come to Lakeline Oaks. And the advice I would like to give to people is just to, not wait too late. Again, we're not a medical facility. We are an independent retirement community. It's all about having fun. So start living your life now and come now. You don't want to wait too late because there might be a point or time in life where someone's going to have to make that decision for you. So why not be in control of that and make these decisions yourself? And plus, it's fun to come visit these retirement communities. You get a free meal out of it. You get to meet people your age that you have things in common with, and it can be a really, really awesome experience. So
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come back and see you more at the facility and maybe even bring my parents.
Awesome.
So yes, thank you so much for visiting us here today, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. This is Allyson Carter. Thank you for tuning in to another podcast of Elder Home Buyers, and we look forward to seeing you next time.